Добрый вечер, муж и жена. How's that for an introduction? I'll start doing Russian introductions on my videos because everybody kept saying, stop giving the same introduction to every video. Here's a little trick I learned over 20 years ago. It is very handy. And at first you're going to go, what? And then you're going to realize what the hell I'm talking about. You kind of notice how like the lens mount and your lens are both metal. You're like, oh my god, you're so right. That's metal. And that's metal. Yeah. I want you to do one thing and do it with your camera upside down. Okay? Why? Because you don't want anything to fall on your camera. I clean my own sensors, but whether you clean your own sensors or not, you don't want to clean them any more than you absolutely have to. And one thing you'll notice is that your finger will be very grimy after you do this. You think, well, my camera's clean. I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with my mount. It's like, yeah, well, you wait and find out, okay? So turn your camera upside. Make sure you ain't sticking your finger inside and touching your sensor, all right? You're going to be running your finger along the lens mount very tightly. Okay, kind of like this. I'm going to actually do this with the camera not facing down just so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, like this. Give either your thumb or your finger. And when you pull it away, you'll notice it's black. Okay, rub that off and do it again. You can either do it with your thumb or whatever you want. You're doing two things with this. Okay, there's actually a great deal of grime. No, this is something else nobody ever does. They actually need to take like a Q-tip that's very, very lightly damp. I didn't say wet or moist. I said very lightly damp or preferably rubbing alcohol, and actually clean the rear mount off of their camera. What this does is two things. It keeps grime from migrating to your sensor, which is, nobody ever cleans as part of their camera. I shit you not. Nobody ever cleans as part of their camera. It's like, that's too close to my sensor. I'm not going to clean that. Some people do, but most people don't. Another thing it does is it actually keeps, just by the Simplex oils that on you. It's like, well, I don't want any oil near my sensor. It's like, no, what you don't want near your sensor to migrate into your sensor is a blob of grime, and that is actually where it actually always accumulates and nobody ever cleans it off. Okay, now you could do this with a Q-tip, okay, or you could do this with a cloth, but this is a lot simpler, especially because the Simplex oils that are on your finger, you notice this is metal to metal. You know kind of how you like have oil in the engine of your car, and if you like remove that oil, the gears start to grind? Yeah, because metal against metal kind of needs lubrication. Taking the lens off and on, what it does, it actually does two things. It actually smooths the taking on and taking off of your lens, and it cuts down on the grinding. You'll actually notice, if you buy some used lenses, you'll notice that the chrome plating is really worn off and the brass is showing through. And it's like, well, that's just a lens that is well used. No, it's a lens that's been stuck on a dry mount over and over and over again. If you do this, your finger oils are never going to migrate to the inside of it. So what you'd rather have on there, that black grime that's actually sitting on your lens mount, you turn your camera upside down, run your finger tightly. Mine isn't dirty because I keep my stuff clean, unlike yours. You notice your finger's dirty. Clean it off with some rubbing alcohol. Work on another finger then. Okay, make sure your hands are clean. Obviously. So not just recently washed, but just clean, but they still have those surface oils. You can't feel oil on your fingers. When you actually run it across metal, you can actually feel that, yes, there's some lubrication. As every human skin does, it excretes oil out for protection. What you're doing is just rubbing a super fine layer of oil on the lens mount, skin oil. It's going to cut down on the grinding between mounting your lens off and on. It's going to remove that crud that's going to migrate to your sensor, and you'll notice that 99% of you have never done this, and when you do this, your finger is going to come back looking pretty damn black. It's like, well, I looked at that and it was silver, but when I ran my finger across it and pulled it back, it was really, really black. That's the first thing everybody's going to do when they do this. Is a tip I learned from, I forget who. It was an old dude that was like a god of photography and photography gears. What was his name? Was it Alan? I think it was Alan. I think it was Alan like 22 years ago that actually told me this. Is an old dude. He's definitely dead now. He's a British guy. But this serves three different purposes. It doesn't cost anything. It slows down wear between, especially on the mount of your camera. When you actually got metal, but you know when you're turning that lens, you can actually hear the metal going creaking against metal. The mount's metal. This is metal. Yeah, just sticking a bit of finger lube. That sounds weird, right? A bit of finger lube on the mount of your camera. You're cleaning it off. You're cutting down on wear. Okay? There's a little tip that you'll not see anywhere else or in any photography magazine. Not only does it work, the logic behind it is 100% sound, and it will keep crud from migrating to the inside of your sensor. So it cleans it, it keeps crud from migrating to the sensor, and it cuts down on the wear and tear. That brass you see that's worn through on the chrome plating on the back of lenses, that is because I also do this with actually the back of my lenses. Usually I use Q-tips to clean the lenses invariably after a certain period of time. What I actually do with my thumb on the back of my lenses is I actually run it around like this. What it does is just add just a slight hair of skin oil to the mount. It doesn't migrate, you know, we're talking about a super minuscule amount of skin oil, okay? It's not going to migrate to the lens, it's not going to spot anything up, it's on the mount, and when you go to mount the lens on your camera, it will be smooth as silk and everything there will be clean, and you'll notice, you didn't hear any grinding metal. Yeah. All my cameras are done that way. I've been doing that for over 20 years. The logic behind it is perfectly sound. There's another tip and trick brought to you by the Angry Photographer that you won't read about or see anywhere else because homie's got some tricks that other people don't know about. I got many tricks like that up my sleeve, of which many I've already posted. After 3,000 videos, I hope to God I've posted a lot of them. I know I have. Thanks for watching. Bye. And by the way, if you don't have this neat little microphone for your camera, the Rode Micro, the Video Micro, for 60 bucks. It's made in Australia. It's made out of metal. This thing is the tits. The audio from it is really good. It actually has really good side rejection too. So I thought this would be such a gimmicky joke when I bought it. Everything Rode makes is really awesome. Actually, only Rode does make the NT5 stereo microphone, which sucks, but it's really well made. So Rode makes a lot of microphones, only one of them sucks. They're made in Australia. This is the tits. I think everybody should buy this for $59. Really, really mean that. DSLR, mirrorless, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Bye. Bum.